Claire Weaver arrived just before sunset. The road to Lantern Hill twisted through woods that seemed unnaturally silent. No birds, no wind. The trees bent inward like they were trying to keep her out, or trap her in. The house stood at the top of the hill, slumped and rotting, with a porch that moaned under her footsteps. The keys didn't work. The front door opened on its own. Inside, dust thick as fur coated everything. A cold draft snaked down the hallway. The wallpaper peeled like burned skin. But Claire felt a strange pull, like the house was waiting for her. She set her suitcase down. The floorboards groaned. Something moved upstairs. She stood frozen. Then, brushing it off as an animal or draft, she ignored it. She shouldn't have. Day 2, whispers in the walls. The night was restless. At exactly 3:07 a.m., Claire woke up with a jolt. Her bedside lamp flickered and then died. From inside the walls she heard it. A soft, wet whisper. "Claire! Claire!" She slammed her fist on the wall. The whisper stopped. Then came scratching, slow, deliberate, like nails dragging across old wood. In the morning there were claw marks on the wall. Long, fresh ones. Day 3, the mirror room. Claire discovered a locked door in the west wing. Curious, she pried it open. Inside was a room lined entirely with mirrors, floor to ceiling. Each mirror was cracked, but not shattered. Each one reflected her from a different angle. In one of them, she wasn't alone. There was a figure behind her. Pale, wet hair. A wide, toothless grin. She spun around. Nothing. But her reflection still smiled. Day 5, the phone call. Her phone rang. No number. Just static. Then a voice, raspy, full of phlegm. "I see you. See you. I see you." Then silence. Her screen cracked in her hand. She looked out the window. All the trees were facing the house now. Day 6. The baby in the walls. She heard it again. Baby crying. She followed the sound to the cellar. Cold air wrapped around her like a wet blanket. The crying was coming from behind the bricked wall. She found a rusted pickaxe in the corner and began digging. Behind the bricks was a tiny, skeletal crib. Inside, a rotted doll, its mouth sewn shut with black thread. As she stared, it blinked. Day 7. The Book of Names. In the attic, she found a journal bound in skin, human skin. The ink was dark red. Inside, every page listed a name and a date. All the dates were in May. All the dates were deaths. Her mother's name was there. So was Claire's. Her date was tomorrow. Day 8. The walls breathe. The house came alive. Doors pulsed like hearts. The wallpaper curled like fingers. Blood seeped from under the floorboards. Her bed was gone. Her clothes vanished. In their place, a dress from the 1800s hung on a mannequin. It was her size. That night, she heard someone breathing next to her as she lay in the cold bathtub. Something cold touched her cheek. She passed out. Day 9. The Garden of Bones. Behind the house was a garden. She hadn't noticed it before. All the plants were dead. She dug into the soil and unearthed bones. Small, delicate, childlike. A voice behind her whispered, "You're next." She turned to run, but her legs felt heavy, like something had crawled inside her veins. Day 10. The Red Room. The west wing had changed. A new door appeared. Deep red, pulsing faintly. She opened it. Inside, the walls were covered in moving faces. Screaming, moaning, crying. One face looked just like her. It opened its mouth and said, "Let me out." Her nose started to bleed. Her vision blurred. She collapsed. Day 11. Possession. She woke up tied to the bed. Her hands moved, but they weren't hers. Her body twitched, convulsed. She saw herself in the mirror, but it wasn't her face. It was someone older, decayed. The house was in her now. It whispered through her mouth, laughed through her teeth. Day 12. The Night of Screams. The village below heard her that night. Screams so loud they cracked windows. Nobody went to help. They knew better. Inside, Claire ran from room to room. The halls stretched endlessly. Every door led back to the same place. The nursery. Inside the crib was now a mirror. Her reflection looked dead. Then it smiled and crawled out. Day 13, final day. She was found nailed to the wall, arms spread wide, eyes missing. On the floor below her, scratched in dried blood. She stayed too long. The house on Lantern Hill waits for its next guest. You can check in, but you never check out. 6 months later, a cheerful young realtor named Bethany Keys posted a listing online. Charming hilltop estate for sale. Historic, spacious, and full of character. She'd never been inside. The buyers didn't care. They were ghost hunters. Day 1. The team arrives. The Spectral Six, a popular ghost hunting group with millions of YouTube subscribers, arrived in a white van stocked with cameras, EVP recorders, spirit boxes, and bravado. They weren't scared, they wanted content. The group included Connor, the leader, cocky and skeptical. Jade, the medium, sensitive, quiet, always uneasy. Eli, the tech guy who believed in nothing. Sasha, the influencer, loud and excited. Briggs, the cameraman, always high. Nico, the intern who didn't want to be there. They laughed at the creaking floors, the cold air, the rotting ceiling. By midnight, the laughter stopped. Day 2, the first sign. The cameras glitched only inside the house. Audio distorted. Footage from the nursery replayed backwards, even though no one had entered. Jade heard voices in the hall. She's still here. And not enough yet. Sasha streamed a live TikTok from the mirror room. Her followers watched in horror as something behind her whispered, "She has your face now." When she turned around, her nose started bleeding. Her reflection kept smiling even after she stopped. That night, Sasha disappeared. Her phone was found inside the attic wall, buried like a tombstone. Day 3, Jade's vision. Jade entered the basement and collapsed. When they brought her up, she was shaking and muttering. They made her part of the house. They fed her to it. The house is her now. That night, they found symbols carved into the walls, in blood, old and dried. One of them was Claire's name. One of them was Connor's. Day 4. The feeding begins. Nico vanished during a bathroom break. His scream echoed through the house. They found him in the red room, upside down, his mouth sewn shut. Connor blamed Jade. Jade blamed the house. Briggs just kept filming. The house loved him for it. His camera never turned off. It recorded what his eyes couldn't see. Things crawling in the walls, hands reaching from mirrors, the floor opening for just long enough to swallow something whole. Day 5. Claire returns. In the nursery, Eli found Claire. She looked normal almost. Skin pale, eyes glowing faintly red, a dress made of shadows. Her smile stretched too far. She whispered, "Stay with me. I'm so lonely." He tried to run, but the door was gone. He screamed until the house ate the sound. Later, Briggs reviewed the footage. Claire never appeared on camera, only his reflection speaking to no one, then screaming as his head twisted backward. Day 6. Only 2 left. Connor and Jade barricaded themselves in the dining room. Inside, the house shifted. Walls rearranged. The windows disappeared. The house was alive. And it was starving. Connor tried to set fire to the floor. The flames turned blue, then green, then black. And then they screamed. Voices from the walls. Dozens. Hundreds. All the people the house had taken. Isha, Nico, Claire, Louise, and others, including Jade. She turned to Connor, her face wet with shadow. "I'm sorry. I didn't want this. But the house, it's in me." She lunged at him. Day 7, the live stream ends. The final footage from Spectral 6 streamed for 7 hours straight on YouTube. Millions watched, thinking it was all fake. The last scene. Connor sitting in the nursery, alone. Silent. Behind him, the crib rocks. The mirror cracks. And a hand, his own, reaches out of his reflection and grabs him. The screen goes black. Epilogue. For sale again. Bethany Keys updated the listing. Hilltop Estate. Price reduced. Motivated seller. No prior history disclosed. Below that, in the comments, "Don't go. The house doesn't forget." Posted by user Claire Weaver 1873. 2 years had passed since the spectral six vanished inside the house on Lantern Hill. Most had forgotten. Others claimed it was a hoax. But one person had returned. She stumbled out of the forest barefoot, eyes sunken and hair white as bone, muttering nonsense, or what people believed was nonsense. She's still growing, still hungry. You can't stop her from the inside. Only from the roots. No one believed her. No one except Jonas Weaver, Claire's younger brother. He had never accepted her death. Not after the strange calls, the dreams, and the journal she'd mailed him before everything went dark. And now, with Jade's cryptic words and his sister's blood-stained journal as a guide, Jonas decided to go where no one else dared. Back to the house on Lantern Hill. He didn't go alone. His team was small but carefully chosen. Dr. Ellen Griggs, a skeptical but open-minded psychologist of the paranormal. Tomas, a gruff, seasoned relic hunter and exorcist from Peru. Lena, Jonas's childhood friend with psychic sensitivity. Zeke, a former Marine who didn't believe in ghosts, only survival. And Clover, a strange, quiet girl who claimed she had dreamt of the house since she was 5. Lantern Hill stood as if nothing had changed. The front door opened on its own, welcoming them with silent malice. Inside, the air was heavier. The walls bulged with moisture. The wallpaper was no longer floral but covered in faded, screaming faces. The house didn't wait for nightfall to begin. They stepped into the living room and immediately noticed distortions. Chairs in the wrong place, staircases shifting when you weren't looking, cold spots that whispered names. They tried setting up equipment. All failed. Clover wandered into a hall of mirrors and disappeared before anyone noticed. Her scream echoed from inside every reflection in the house. Her voice changed over time, from terrified to tranquil, and finally to hollow. "It's beautiful in here." Jade's journal, written in madness, mentioned a symbol, an eye devouring a heart. Jonas found it in the cellar, etched into a heavy wooden trapdoor. Beneath it was something older than the house itself. Roots twisted through the soil like veins, thick, blackened, and pulsing. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The roots moved. One of them shot up and wrapped around Tomas's leg, dragging him into the earth. He shouted prayers until his voice choked. Then nothing. His crucifix surfaced later, twisted and melted. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. The walls were no longer wood, but flesh-like, wet, breathing, alive. At the center of it all was a throne made of bones and shattered glass. Claire sat on it. Not the sister Jonas remembered, but something else. A being wrapped in the souls of every victim the house had consumed. Her skin peeled in layers, her eyes leaked white fire, and her voice echoed in dozens of tones. "I wanted to leave," she said. "But now I am the house." Jonas wept. "I came to save you." Claire reached out with fingers made of roots and whispered, "Then stay." Lena stepped forward, performing a ritual with salt, oil, and sacred chants. The roots screamed. The house shook. Mirrors exploded. Walls bled. The house fought back. Zeke was the next to go, pulled through the floor by 1,000 tiny hands. His scream was short. Only his dog tags remained. The ritual cracked something inside Claire. Her face shifted. Her real self flickered beneath the monstrous layers. For a moment, she looked like the sister Jonas loved. "Tell Mom I tried," she said. Then she drove a shard of mirror into her own chest. The throne shattered. The ground roared. The house turned on itself, walls crashing inward, flames bursting from its mouth like bile, laughter twisting into wails. The nursery burst apart in a cyclone of ash and teeth. Lena grabbed Jonas and dragged him out as the structure collapsed in on itself. Claire's final voice echoed like a dying god. "I am the key, and the lock burn me. Jonas hurled the journal into the inferno. The fire screamed until it went silent. In the aftermath, only ashes remained where the house once stood. Lantern Hill was barren. Jonas never spoke another word. Lena opened a spiritual ward to protect the land, though she swore it wouldn't last forever. Clover's reflection still appears in mirrors across town, just for a second, always smiling. And every year in mid-May, the ground at Lantern Hill begins to steam. Locals hear whispers in the wind and sometimes, just for a moment, catch the scent of burning wallpaper. Stay with me. I'm so lonely.